What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I'm here today to do a quick hit scouting report video. I'm going to do at least 2 today, maybe 3 of them over the course of the day. I'm going to try and knock out a couple of them at least. Today, or this one rather, is going to be for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They just played the Los Angeles Rams, and so we're going to get into that. Now, before I, split the screen and make myself small or whatever and get into the stats and the everything that happened again in that game or whatever, let me just say that they did lose to the Rams, but the Rams are looking really good. They're looking like they're going to be one of the top teams in the league this year. But they did show how the recipe to beat the Buccaneers. You just have to keep them to a relatively modest score, which they held them to 24 points, and that is pretty modest for the Bucks and the Tom Brady led Bucks. Hold them to somewhat of a modest score and then outscore them. But that also obviously requires that you have an offense that is capable of doing so, which the Rams absolutely do. Unfortunately, we don't, and Tua's not even going to be back yet. That's the last game that he's going to miss on this, stint. I mean, obviously we have to wait and see. We expect him to be brought back, after the Tampa Bay game to play against Jacksonville. But, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Maybe they take him off IR and then they want to give him an extra week. I don't know, right? So, but hopefully he will be back for Jacksonville. Either way, though, he's going to have to miss through the Tampa game. And so it's going to be Jacoby Brissett, and I don't really think we have the offense to do that. So, to do what the Rams did. So let's take a look at what the Rams did do. So obviously the Bucks lost 34-24. They are 2-1 on the season. The Rams are 3-0. So like I said, I mean, a really good team. And they lost to a really good team. So, it is what it is. But let's take a little bit closer look at how everything shaped up. So Tampa did have 446 total yards and gave up 407. They had 411 through the passing game, and they gave up 331. They only had 35 yards on the ground and gave up 76, but they did have a 6.3 yards per play to the 6.5 that they gave up to the opposing team. Neither team fumbled or threw an interception. Tampa Bay did let up 3 sacks, though, too, to that, that Aaron Donald-led defensive front, and LA only gave up 1. The Bucks were only 46%. I mean, that's still a all right number on third down, but obviously you want to try and be over 50 if you can. Over 40 is solid, though. But the Dolphins' third down defense as of right now is giving up like nearly 60%. It's just a little bit shy of 60%. I think it's like 57% or something like that on third downs, which is absolutely atrocious. The Rams were 66%. Tampa Bay had the ball for 29-50. The Rams had it for 30-10. Tampa Bay had 7 penalties, so that obviously didn't help them. The Rams only had 1. So obviously they were, shooting themselves in the foot a little bit too during this game. Let's take a look at the Rams' production so we can get a bit more context for the defensive side of the ball for the Buccaneers. They allowed Matthew Stafford to throw for 27 of 38, 343, and 4 touchdowns. Sony Michel led the way running, 20 rushes for 67 and a 3.4. Everybody else didn't really do a whole lot. Receiving, Deshaun Jackson, 3 of 5 for 120 and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp, 9 of 12, 96 and 2 scores. Van Jefferson, 4 of 6 for 42. Tyler Higbee, 5 of 5 for 40 and 1. Robert Woods, 3 of 6, 33. And Sony Michel, 3 of 4 for 12. And then, of course, as always, I'll scroll through the rest of this just in case you guys care or want to see any of it. But yeah, man, I mean, the Rams are a good team, man, and they've got a lot of firepower on offense. And if your defense can hold the Bucks to something like 24 points, then you have a chance to win if your offense is able to put up points themselves. Tom Brady was 41 of 55. Jesus Christ. 432 yards and a touchdown. And apparently he's, holy shit. Man. Tom Brady led the way in rushing. 3 carries for 14 yards and a touchdown with a 4-7. Jesus Christ. Ronald Jones, 5 carries, 11 yards and a 2-2. Chris Godwin threw in 1 for 2 yards and a score. Jesus Christ. Tom Brady was the leading rusher. So, maybe if they pick up their run game a little bit and Tom Brady wasn't their leading rusher, maybe they would have had a little bit better chance of winning this game. Also, too, I think Rob Gronkowski had gotten hurt at some point, so I think he went down. Anyway, Mike Evans was 8 for 10, 106. Chris Godwin, 6 of 7, 74. Tyler Johnson, 3 of 6, 63. Gronk was 4 of 7, 55. Giovanni Bernard, 9 of 10, 51, and a touchdown. Cameron Brate, 4 of 5, 35. Leonard Fournette, 3 of 3 for 26. O.J. Howard, 1 for 11. And Scott Miller, 2 of 3 for 11. And then we'll just take a quick dip down here so you can take a peek at the rest of this. Yeah, man. It's just so funny. It's just so funny. All right, let's go ahead and swap over to my league standings. Now, these league standings are updated as of, today with the Monday Night Football game having been played. So it is fully up to date, 100%. And as it stands, and you're going to see some interesting things here, right? So, especially when we get to the defensive statistics. But so total yards, they have 1,218, which is surprisingly actually only 8th in the league. There's 7 teams ahead of them with more. But they have over 1,200 total yards so far. Per game, they're getting 406, which is also 8th. They're 2nd in the league in total passing and yards per game with 1,087 total and 362.3 per game. But they're 31st in the league in total yards and rushing yards per game, because obviously they don't run the ball very much. They probably need to pick that up a little bit, especially as the season goes on, if they want to continue to have high-level success, especially when they get into the playoffs. But they are expected to do so, and I don't see why they won't, even if this persists through, the majority of the year. But they only have 169 total and 56.3 per game. They're 2nd in the league, though, in points with a total of 103 and 34.3 per game. So as you can see, their offense obviously is top of the league in, total yards, passing yards, and points per game, which I think those things cumulatively probably mean a bit more than just this one stat. However, they probably do need to get better at that. Defensively, though, on the other hand, it's kind of a flipped situation, right? They're obviously giving up. Now, the Rams are really good, but they did play the Falcons the week before. Who did they play in week 1? I forgot who they played in week 1. But anyway, there's some opportunity here on the defense, but that's, for opposing offenses, I guess. But that's the thing, though, is you have to be able to actually take advantage of this and move the ball and not make them look. They have a solid defense, don't get me wrong. The Tampa Bay defense is pretty damn good, but and they have played some, decent opponents in the first few weeks or whatever, but there is obviously some opportunity here if this sort of thing is to persist. They're 27th in the league in giving up yards per game with 402, 32nd in passing yards with 348.7, 4th though in rushing yards with 63.7, and they're 27th in the league in giving up 29.3 points per game. So, like I said, it's really interesting here. But of course, the part of the equation, though, is that their offense is so high powered that, you could score 30 points in a game, and that still might not even be enough to get you the win over the Bucs, right? So, anyway, takeaways, they have 4, which is 16th, 4 interceptions on the season, which is 5th. They're tied for, they're tied for something at 0 with a bunch of teams, or with a few teams, but they fall on the list at 30th. Sacks, they only have 3, which actually has them last in the league by themselves. They're the only team that has that few. But passes defense, they have 16, which is 6th. And then just a quick update for the Dolphins stuff. And, This obviously, I updated all of this too with the Monday Night Football game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. So these are up to date. There was some things that shifted just a little bit, mostly just the total yards here on offense, and the total points shifted like a spot or whatever. But yeah, so there it is, the Dolphins offense and the Dolphins defense, where we currently stack up in the league. And yeah, so at the end of the day, like I said, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, it's going to be a tough game for us. I think most everybody, their mother, their aunt, their uncle thinks and expects us to lose that game. But that's part of the reason why, and who knows though, you know, any given Sunday, whatever, it's a home game for them. I don't think we really match up, and I think it's, especially with Tua being out. But you never know, right? Any given Sunday, who knows? But with the, you know, realistic expectation that they will probably win the game, it's one of the things that makes this next game against the Colts that much more important. Because if we go, you know, if we lose against the Colts on Sunday and then we get beat by the Bucs, as everyone expects, most people expect anyway, unless you're just super homer Dolphins fans, I guess, then that means we're going to be 1-4 going into that Jacksonville game, with Tua just coming back, you know, probably having not practiced at all for like 3 weeks, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Now we have to take that long trip to London. I get the Jags are bad and we should definitely still win that game, but, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just, it's certainly a rough place to be in if we're 1-4 going into that game, even if we do come out with the win and get to 2-4. So, because then we're just definitely, you know, pretty far behind the 8 ball, especially with our aspirations to make it to the playoffs. So anyway, with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. Of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.